Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Life Insurance podcast. My name's John David, and this is Mo. Okay. I thought something was alert. My name's John David. This is Mo. We just run Arise Insurance Group. It's really just a telesales agency where we teach new agents how to get on track to hit 250K plus a month quickly. So we know a little thing or two about telesales. Today, we're going to talk about just kind of objections. A lot of people ask us about how to handle objections and the mindset behind them. So really what we'll kind of do is just break down kind of like the mindset behind objections, the framework you should have for all objections, and then just going into intro objections, outro objections, and really just kind of taking it from there. So Mo, if you want to introduce yourself, if they don't know you, who you are, what you do, and then we'll just hop into it.
Yeah, I'm Mo. I started in sales about, like 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. Went through a couple of roles in sales, home improvement. Eventually got into life insurance through a friend of mine. Started with John, and now we're getting people to make a whole lot of money. That's pretty much it.
Cool. Yep. So essentially kind of what we'll talk about today is objections and things like that. And if anyone knows anything about us or you're part of our industry or a part of our agency, I mean, you understand that me and Mo are very, very big proponents of preventing objections, right? Like I think the best objection is the one you don't get, and the best way to handle them is to prevent them. But obviously day one, you're not going to come into the industry and be like, I know how to do everything perfectly and I'm never going to make a mistake, right? That's not how it works. And usually the people that want to learn all these things before they start working never start working, and then they never make money. So it's a fine balance of just being a bull in a china shop, really just trying to break everything in the front end and fixing it along the way. I think that's the quickest way you can make money. Over preparing is going to hold you back from success. So just kind of getting into the mindset of objections, which really objections in insurance, it's really a funny thing, right? Because we were just talking about this before the podcast, but really it's wild to me that people even have an objection. If you did your job right, if you put in the right effort and you're actually quoting the right products and you're not trying to get fancy with it and anything like that, and you're genuinely solving a problem from them, the decision they're making is, do I want to leave my family fucked over or not? Like that's really what we're doing here. So like once you understand that at the genuine baseline level of what an objection is in life, like cars, solar, real estate, I understand the objections. You got to think about, do I want to live here? Do I want to get this car? Do I want this car payment? Do I want the solar payment? I understand to think about it and all the objections you can put, talk to spouse, things like that. But really when it comes to life insurance, at the end of the day, it boils down to the idea of, do I want to take care of my family or not? Right? Like, I don't know what kind of piece you might have on that, Mo.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree on that. It's compared to a lot of other sales where it's like where you're buying it for yourself, it may or may not make financial sense, or it makes you feel better or whatever it is. This is really, like John said, it's really, well, do you want to make sure your family's all right or not? I mean, it's fairly straightforward, right? When friends, usually at the gym, right, when they ask me, it's like, well, what do you do for a living, blah, 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 blah. And then a lot of people are like, well, why are you not really like advertising to your friends? I mean, wouldn't that be a good market? And really the only thing I say is, well, if you have somebody that you love, I hope that you have life insurance. That's all that I have to say to the people that know me, right? And some of them will come to me and the others won't, and the others that won't, they might have just not been the right people in the first place. So if you have family, especially if you have somebody that depends on you, you might want to make sure that they can depend on you even if you're not here anymore, right? I mean, that's the whole point behind it. So, I think it's fairly straightforward. And that's why the majority of these objections is absolutely silly, right? It's like, well, do you love your family or not? Essentially, right? Do you want to spend, and everybody spends 50, 100, however many dollars it is on some bullshit every month, probably every week, let's be honest. Just making that commitment is the scary part to a lot of people. Yeah. Because now they have to spend that money, but they would anyway. Like, how many broke people do you know that smoke or drink or go out every weekend or whatever the fuck it is, it's that's like you'll spend the money somehow. You can either make sure your loved ones are all right or not. That's what it is.
Yeah. I completely agree, right? And I think this is the most important part about the objection handling process is actually understanding the core ideology of like what they're saying, because I think that a couple of traps that agents fall into or salespeople in general fall into is one, they believe the lies, which the objection is just typically a smokescreen or something along those lines. And two, they sympathize for the clients and they don't empathize with the beneficiaries, right? And so for me, I wholeheartedly believe in what we do, how we help people, and I know for a fact I'm more than happy to sit down with the client and say, hey, you're actually in a really good position. This doesn't make sense for you, and get up and leave, right? Or on the phones or whatever it may be. So for me, it's like I don't do follow-ups at a very high level. I don't do anything along like outside of logistical reasons. I will never set a follow-up. If you're in my agency or our agency, you've heard me say it a million times, burn the bridge, right? Which for me, I think that because at the end of the day, here's the deal, right? And if you have this mindset, it's a lot easier to burn the bridge. See, most of the time, the main difference between myself and top performers and things like that and people that are struggling with these types of objections is mainly the fact that I don't need your business. You need my help. Like that, I genuinely believe that I don't need this business. I'm no better. Like whether I make a sale or not doesn't make a difference to my life. It makes a difference to theirs. Okay. So for me, it's like no sale is going to change my life, but every sale changes theirs. So with that mindset, if you buy from me or not, that's okay. There's plenty of other people. Now, I think the scarcity and the follow-up comes typically from not having enough people to talk to, not being all in the business, not wholeheartedly believing in the products you're selling, and putting it out there for them. So there's a couple different things that will affect you from effectively handling objections and pushing through and being willing to. Because for me, I don't think there's any good objection to not take care of your family. Like there is no think about it, talk to spouse, talk to whatever it may be. Like I'm going to see that as what it is and you're scared to make a decision. And that's okay. Especially like, so for instance, majority of this is going to be final expense focused because that's what most of our guys do. Most of the people in the team and a lot of people in the industry do. We can always do a more advanced objection handling course later. But for now, it's like final expense. Like these people are perpetual procrastinators, right? They procrastinated their whole life and you think you're the one they're going to follow up with? Or I got to think about it and get back to you. They've been thinking about it for 70 years. And you think your conversation was so strong that you changed their perspective, you changed their persona, and they're actually going to think about it with you and not just throw it under a pile and keep moving. Like, don't fool yourself, right? Were you going to say something?
Yeah, so I think there's a couple things to that. So those are the same people that have been saying, "Hey, I'm going to save $20 a week
Yep.
for the last God knows how many years, right?" And they're still broke. So, which part of that can be the objection handling, right? But um, really thinking that you're going to change their beat, it's like the old dog new tricks type thing, right? It's really just not going to happen. Like some of them you just gotta be like, "Hey, you suck." And if you love your family, you should suck less. And this is a way to suck less. That's essentially the idea. Now, with everything, John was on point with everything that he said. With that, the biggest point I think that people get wrong is that and we love NEPQ, right? I'm going to preface that with this, but there's a limited application of NEPQ and these advanced sales techniques in a sales process like final expense. We're not talking about a $5,000 upfront investment. We're not talking about, generally speaking, high ticket sales, where high ticket technically just describes the commission you make, but that's a whole different topic. But the issue is that it's a lot quicker sale, and the people are usually not the clientele you would expect with somebody that would be using NEPQ. Objection handling that way, changing their perspective, making room in their budget because there usually is no budget in the first place.
Yeah.
So little different situation to approach it.
Yeah, and that's really like getting into the core ideology of it. Like, is this objection logistical? Like, is it a real thing? To where they may not have the budget, they may not have whatever it may be, or is it emotional, meaning they're fearful, they're scared to make the wrong decision, they're scared to commit to anything. Like, and you have to be really, really good at uncovering those to see which route it is. Because if they can't afford it, they can't afford it, and shame on you for pushing something they can't afford.
Yeah.
Because realistically, if somebody has $20 at the end of the month and you're trying to take that $20 for an insurance policy, I don't care what anybody says. That's messed up. I think that if they
Now they're
have
still
20,
fucking their family, right? That's
yeah,
still the situation, but still don't do that.
yeah, for sure. But the truth of the matter is, if someone says they have $20 at the end of the month, really they have negative 50, right? Like that's there's probably a negative balance going on quite often there. And I'm a firm believer that I'm here to help as many people as possible, not help every single person, right? And so I can't help everyone because some people are going to be charged back, some people are going to be guaranteed issues, some people I just genuinely can't help. And so I'm only looking for the people that I feel that I can help and that actually want the help. They're just scared to make a decision. I'm okay with scared to make a decision because I can help you make said decision. I can't help you find money for this policy. And people can go into all kinds of stuff about, oh, well, your kids can pay for it. They can this, that. Yeah, go do that. I'm not about that, but it is what it is, right? So understanding the core concept of like what we're going into and genuinely like my mindset for what we sell is essentially that, and I talk to my agents about this a lot. It's like, if you had the cure to cancer, would you allow people with cancer to give you objections, or would you just bulldoze through them and be like, no, you don't understand, you need this, I know you need this, you know you need every time they say, well, yeah, it wouldn't make a difference, I'm just going to keep calling and I'm going to get we have the cure to financial cancer, right? Like, life insurance is genuinely that cure. And so you should feel the same way about it. I feel the same way about it. We literally have the best product. That's why I'm in the industry. So once you solely believe in this product at such a high level, you will not allow the BS to get in your way to help people out, right? So that's first and foremost. Secondly, I think genuinely it's like, and this goes into any sales training and things like this, like, how do you talk to salespeople, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm a firm believer the objections you give are the objections you get. We talk to people about getting like sales training and coaching, and what's the biggest objection they give?
Think about it.
I got to
Don't
think
talk to them
about
about
it.
whatever.
But then they complain that their clients have to think about it too. I wonder why. Because you don't have the conviction of yourself to get shit done. Like, if you can't even make a decision for yourself to put yourself in a better position, how do you expect your clients to? Because they feel that.
Yeah, for sure. Plus, you'll believe stuff that you say yourself too, right? If if
Yeah.
if in your head I have to think about this as a genuine objection
Yeah.
because you don't have your shit together, people will follow suit to that and be like, "Hey, I got to think about this," and you'll accept it, right? Because you do that yourself. Same thing with your spouse, which again, spouse is a terribly silly objection in life insurance. It's like, hey, I'm not asking my wife if I can get her a present for a birthday, right? That's so dumb.
I think it's worse than that. It's
Yeah,
I'm going to ask my wife if I can save her, if I can protect her, if I can do what I literally vowed to do, for better or worse.
yeah. That's like I said. We talked about this before. So that's like I literally said, like you both get in the car. You're the driver, and she says, "Hey, I'm not going to use the seatbelt today," and you're like, "Okay," and start driving. It's like, well, I'm not going to do that, right? I'm not going to drive till you put your fucking seatbelt on. And this is your financial seatbelt for your wife. Like, you make that decision for her. It's like, it's not whether you want to live or not. My job is to protect you, and I'm not going
Correct.
to put you in a worse situation by my actions. And if my inaction would be that, then well, I'm just a piece of shit, right? So um, it's a very silly thing to believe your own objections. Well, you should really just sit down and be like, why do I have these objections? Um, and do I just really want to be nice, quote unquote, to the salesperson? Which really, you're not being nice. You're really just wasting their time because
Yeah.
they might follow up, they might do whatever with it. Realistically, you're never going to buy the thing. Might as well tell them. Right? Like, if I don't want to buy anything, I'm not going to be like, hey, I got to talk to my wife. I tell the guys like, hey, this is just not for me, dude. Like,
Yeah.
and then they usually like, why not? And it's like, I still like it. Like, I'm not going to give you a fake answer. I'm just going to say this is just not for me. right? And a lot of people just can't be straightforward and honest with others. So that, they'll find that in their own sales process for sure. Are you ready to launch your life insurance career or finally break through, but the lead cost is holding you back?
We solve that. With us, you get free leads for your first 8 weeks to build your pipeline fast, plus full commissions, and you own your book of business from day one.
Look, we have noticed the biggest reason agents fail isn't because they suck. It's because they don't get enough reps in front of enough people fast enough due to not being able to afford the right amount of leads.
That's why we're footing the bill to get you the volume of leads you need to build a multi-six-figure income in this industry without stealing any of your comps.
If you're interested in applying, click the link below. Spots are limited. Don't wait.
Yeah. I mean, the ideology of talk to anybody, right? It's like, for me, talk to spouse, talk to kids is like, you would never go up to your children that are 12 years old and be like, hey, I was thinking about getting you to eat vegetables for dinner tonight alongside your hamburger patty or whatever the hell you add. But it's like, would it be okay if I got you to eat your vegetables tonight? Like, no, your job as a parent is to protect and provide. Do your fucking job. You don't ask for permission to protect. So to me, and so the reason we're spending so much time on this is because if you don't genuinely just sit down and say, okay, objections in life insurance are BS, you're going to allow them to run your business, because I don't believe objections. I don't like them. I don't think, because to me, and I got to think about it. It's like, you have to think about whether or not to protect your family. Like, one, I don't respect you as a person if you have to think about whether you protect your family or not. And two, I'm not going to give you time of day to follow up with you, because if anybody knows anything about telesales, the follow-up process is typically 15% of the time they actually pick up the phone and 5% of the time they're actually going to buy from you. Right. So
if you're lucky, I would put those numbers lower, but yeah, if you're lucky, for sure.
Well, I'm padding them because there's going to be some dude here that's like, well, my follow-up game is this, and I close at this level, and everybody, yeah, okay, dude, whatever, dude, and enjoy it.
I mean, if he has the magic sauce, then why is he watching a video on how to overcome objections, right?
Yeah, no shit.
So it's like, oh, why are you watching this thing?
There's always that one guy, though, dude. You never,
for sure, for sure. Which I'm sure he's a millionaire and doesn't need any help. So
never.
Now, then, to actually, I think we getting to the actual objections. I think we should give them all telesales, right? So,
yeah, intro,
outro, meaning after the pitch, and then I think it would be good for you, John, because you just have more experience with that. If you might touch on like mortgage protection, that type of thing, after we go over the final expense part of things.
Yeah.
For the intro, what's kind of you thinking about the intro objections?
Yeah. So first and foremost, like, my biggest thing about intro objections is more about the framework than the word track. Right. And so for me, like, in what we train very heavily on is like, intro objections there's only one real intro objections, genuinely. And everyone, yeah, but there's this. Yeah. Go fucking make your own podcast. The one objection that you're always going to face is they don't want to be on the phone with you. That's all it is. Right.
Yeah. I mean, if you just go into the mindset and be like, well, why the fuck did you answer your phone if you're not free right now? Like, yeah. What? Like, if I'm not available, I don't answer my phone. I don't know about you.
Yep. Definitely. Right. And so every intro objection is created by the fact that they don't want to be on the phone with you. So there's a core framework that we talk about when we're training guys on actually handling objections and getting the front end objections. Once again, outro objections separated from intro objections. I think the way you internalize them, the way you handle them, the way you perceive them are two totally different things. So don't mix up the intro framework with the outro mindset and process and things like that. So just solely talking about intro objections, I think the best way to go about them is to bulldoze them. Now, that doesn't mean don't acknowledge what they say and just keep going. You'll hear guys be like, I didn't fill this out. Yeah, well, when you did fill this out, were you looking for it? No. You have to, that's just, but and we'll get into that, but it's like, you have to flow smoothly. So just a framework for your intro objections. Just remember this, you have to diffuse, acknowledge, sell the out, and then get back to your next question. So what does that mean? Well, you're going to have to diffuse like, oh, I already got that taken care of. Yeah, that's not a problem. Oh, I already have life insurance. Yeah, and most people that fill this out do, right? It's to get back on the same page. It's not the perfect. That's why I'm calling. That's ridiculous. But it's not a problem, not uncommon. That's why, right? Those types of things. It's just, yeah, that's normal. There's nothing wrong with that. When you go to the acknowledgement part, right? So let's say something along the lines of, I already got coverage with work. Yeah, that's not uncommon. Most people that fill these forms out are either looking to strengthen their position, or they know that their coverage at work typically isn't something that's more on the permanent side. So they're looking for that permanent protection. Which one were you? Right. So it's something along those lines. And then thirdly, you're going to always have to sell the out, right? So when you're selling the out, it's like, I'm busy right now. Can you call me back later? Can you send me something in the mail? Blah, blah, blah. Selling the out is something along the lines of, yeah, just have a couple quick questions and I'll have you right off the phone. That's selling the out, right? Hey, you're getting off the phone, because remember, the core objection in the beginning is, I want to get off the phone with you. Just a couple quick questions and I'll get you off the phone. Okay, cool. I can give him a couple quick questions. And then your last one is going to go, this is where most people fail in their intro objections framework. And you can chime in on whatever you believe as well. I'm sure we're in pretty similar agreements with this. Is it's like they study the word tracks, they get the word tracks down, and then someone gets them objection and they give them the word track, and then they sit there and wait to see if it worked. And there's just this weird silence of nothing.
It's because people don't see objection handling as part of their script. And I think the next thing you're going to say is go back into their script.
Go back into your, what is on the intro side, what is the very next question in your script? Get that out as quickly as possible, because what you'll notice is most people on the phone, they'll just disregard what they said and they'll answer that next question. People want to talk. And so the two biggest things on the intro, intro side of it is that, one, people want to get off the phone with you, but two, people love talking. So it's conflicting matters. So you need to sell the out and get them engaged in talking. You don't keep people on the phone by you talking. You keep them on the phone by getting them to talk. And I think that's the core main thing that people need to understand about intro objections. You don't need to have fancy word tracks, which we'll talk about word tracks. But once again, it's about how you pivot back into because you could have a shit word track, but be really, really good at asking your next question right afterwards. And you will get more people to follow you than if you have these golden word tracks and you just sit there and wait for a response. So it's like diffuser, right? Acknowledge whatever they're saying, make them, they're the same, right? And then sell the out and then get right back on process. If you can knock those four things out and conduct a framework around those things on the intro, you will get more presentations. And at the end of the day, the name of this game is how many people can I put numbers in front of? Because you could have a shit close ratio, 15% close ratio, but you get numbers in front of 30 people a week and you're selling 4 or 5 deals a week, versus having a 75% close ratio and you put numbers in front of 5 people a week and you're still at this 3 to 4 deals a week, right? So it's like, but the difference is that if you have 5 presentations a week, the only thing you can do is do 5. You can only sell 5. If you have 30 presentations a week, you may suck at 15%, but once you start closing at 30, now you got 9. So it's like, we can't make improvement on 5. Like, the best you can do is go from 3 sales to 5 sales if you're presenting 5 times a week. If you're presenting 30 times a week, you can go from 3 to 9 to 15 to 18 to 20 sales a week, right? So it's like, we need to get really, really good at the intro side of things. And that's where being able to handle that framework of intro objections is so important.
Yeah. And I think on the side of how do I actually get to presentations might be a worthwhile video too. How do I dial? How do I do this? What's your best return on your time? And, whether call-ins, outbound dialing, having a dialer, like how's it called? People dialing for you to set appointments.
Appointment setter.
Yeah, appointment setters. So there's a couple different ways, but I think what I agree with what John said. What I would add in that is the way you respond, I mean, it really doesn't matter what you respond as much as that you're quick and follow up with a question.
Yeah.
Never leave off without asking them a question, essentially.
Yes.
Now, what I would decipher between is just saying, hey, is it a, I already have this, I never want to have to talk to you again, or I don't have time right now, can we talk later decision or objection?
Mm-hmm.
Less because the outcome's different, just because I want people to think I'm actually going with what they're saying right away, right?
Correct.
Because if somebody says, "Hey, I already got this taken care of," like John said, "Hey, that's common, that's typical, that's most people let us know of that, whatever the situation is," right? I just say, "Yeah, that's not uncommon. That's the quickest way to handle that." Most people, like he said, look at either strengths in their position or depending if it's a work policy, whatever they're saying, go into that and then just be like, is that kind of what you wanted to do? Is that kind of why you were interested or what you were looking for? Now, that way you might already get them into a conversation without having to sell that out too quickly.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to get them in the mindset of, because if I in the front end say, hey, we're going to get you out here quickly, that's going to stick in their mind for a little while at least. And I don't want to have to handle that later if I don't have to. Right? So if I can turn that around without having to do that, great. Now, if somebody is just like, hey, I just want to get off the phone, which the intention is the same, but the way they present it is different. So somebody's like, hey, I don't have time right now. My wife's crazy. I'm driving. Don't get anyone in a car crash, right? But I mean, they're on the phone still, right? So why'd they answer if they can't talk? I've sold people while they were driving, so it works. That the out is like, hey, not a problem. If they're more towards like, can we talk later? It's like, not a problem. Let's go through a couple of quick basics and I'll have that right handy for you later when you're available. And then you just jump right back into the script, go through the health, and then they're usually good with talking to you anyway. Or if they're like, hey, can we set an appointment for later? You can just be like, not a problem. What's a good time for you? And then just go like along the lines of like, should I, or let's take a quick look. Let's check what we can actually qualify you for. Something quick on the front end where they feel heard, but at the same time, you're selling that out. So Connor has a really good wording for that. Yeah, just to see whether it actually makes sense for us to get back together. Let's take a quick look, 1 or 2 minutes, and then I'll have you right off the phone, something like that. And then as soon as you're in health and they disclose things, you're usually good to go.
Yeah. So when I meant sell the out, right? So for selling the out, that's typically with your, I'm busy. I already got to take, right? It's I'm busy. Can we do this? Send me something in the mail. Anything like that. Right. So the framework being, yeah, that's not a problem. I've always been of the person that I'm busy too. So like so we'll just dive right into like, let's say it's a time objection, meaning I can't talk right now. Can we call me later? Send me something in the mail. I don't want to be on the phone, right? So those are the ones you need to sell your out on so that you can get to fact finder. Because once you start getting into fact finder, people will typically stay on the phone. So like, for instance, my framework when it comes to their quote unquote busy, which I don't know who answers the phone when they're busy, but once again, my mindset is that every single objection is they just don't want to be on the phone with me. So I'm assuming that most people are getting an objection and they believe the objection on the front end. I'm just like, my mindset is always, this is just a defense mechanism of you don't want to be on the phone with me. So that's what I'm going to handle. So let's say I'm busy, don't have time right now. Call me back later, try to set an appointment. My framework for that is always the same thing. It's like, hey, yeah, that's not a problem. That actually already works better for me anyways, because I'm actually about to step into another appointment here. Real quick though, I was just calling to introduce myself. My name's John. I'm the field underwriter, the broker, the whatever you want to call yourself. I'm just the one assigned to get this information out to you. Real couple quick questions, and then I'll have you off the phone, right? Or whatever you want to say in the sense of like, yeah, what time would work for you? Like you're selling the out at that point by booking the appointment. You're just getting back into the conversation. So a couple quick questions just to see if it makes sense for us to sync back up later. When you were looking into this, were you looking for blank or blank? And on these questions, typically on the intro, you want to go either or. just so you can keep them engaged rather than an open-ended, because they're not going to want to give. And then you can like get an either or once or twice and then go open-ended. Like that's kind of the framework that I go for. Same thing with like, can you send me something in the mail? Yeah, that's not a problem. There's actually over 65 different carriers here in the state of Texas that you may qualify for. Were you looking more towards like what's going to be the most affordable budget wise, or what the biggest plans you could get, right? Like, just so I know what to send you in the mail, which one of these were you looking more towards? It's an either or. Because at the end of the day, right, if you're a broker, you work with a ton of carriers. So it's like,
well, if you get that a lot on the front end,
yeah,
a fairly easy way that I used to do probably this time last year, I just started my intro off with like, hey, just had a chance to get back to you here before my next appointment.
Mm-hmm.
And that usually got him like this on pretty quickly already. Was like, okay, he just wanted to check in, like, just like, hey, I got your form. Can we have an appointment set type thing? If you say that in the right tonality, that works pretty well too. Like if you get that a lot, that people are not available,
yeah,
then, might just put that in just to prevent it right away.
Yeah, I mean that goes into the preventing things, right? Yeah. Is it's like there's always a way to prevent whatever objection you're getting. Find out what objections you're getting a lot, and then that's what you start preventing it with. Hey, just had a couple quick minutes before my next appointment here, just wanted to call and blah blah blah, right? So those are typically time based, right? They want to get off, they're busy, right? But you can hear the soap operas in the background. So busy.
Listen to that, but I hope you have a good headset. You'll sometimes hear the TV playing in the background. They're like, hey, I'm driving.
Yeah.
Right. They just want to get you off the phone.
Yeah. Usually when people would be like, I'm driving, and I could hear the TV talking, I'd be like, what are you driving, a bus or something? Like who's all those people? Right. But yeah, I mean, the time frame based objections, it's fairly simple, right? You just want to diffuse it. But once again, the biggest thing is get them back into a question on your script as quickly as possible. You should never handle objections without ending in a question.
Yeah.
So
by the way, I would keep that through the entire conversation.
Correct. Yeah. You should never stop talking without a question, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. There rarely are there times where not ending with a question is the better way to go. Like very rarely.
Yeah.
Unless they just told you their wife just passed away like 2 weeks ago, right? And you'd be like, my condolences, give it a second. And then you still probably want to go with, how long were you guys married for? Like show interest in what they're saying. So really bulldozing through it, I think that just to give you guys a formula, acknowledge. If it's not I don't have time right now, sell the out, right? Sorry, if it is, I don't have time right now, sell the out.
Yeah.
And then go right back into your script after that, right? Very common, hey, and then you go back into the script. If it's just I have something already, acknowledge, hey, that's great, or thank you for sharing that, or whatever the situation is. Not uncommon is the easiest one, I would say. Hey, that's not uncommon. Most people that have something in place already, they're just looking to do X or Y. Is that what you were looking for? And then you just go right back into the script.
And so just a note on that, it's extremely important when they say they already got, and I talk about this a lot to the team, but it's like when they say they already have something, there's a big difference in objection handling of I already had something when I filled this form out and I already got it taken care of. Right. Yeah. So those are two different objections on the front end that you have to know which one they're going with. Right. So typically if they said, oh yeah, I already have coverage through work, or I already have this, that means they typically already had something when they filled this form out. If they said, I already got it taken care of, that typically means they filled out the form and then they got the insurance. If they say I already have something, it typically means they have something when they filled out the form. So you have to go back to the form. Right. So those are two different objections, right? I already have coverage with work. Yeah, that's not a problem, right? Your diffuser. Most people, when they fill these forms out, right? That's not uncommon. Most people, when they fill these forms out, they typically do have something with work. Usually they're just kind of looking to strengthen their position or looking for something a little bit more permanent. Was that kind of which route were you looking towards? right? That's already have something. Same thing if they already have coverage. Okay, well, usually when people already have coverage, they're either trying to shop rates or strengthen their position. Which one were you kind of looking for? So those are the two when it's already had it when they filled the form out. So a lot of times the guys will go in and they'll start handling, I already got it taken care of, when someone says they already have it. And so you have to genuinely understand what the objection is to be able to handle that objection, right? And then obviously if they already got it taken care of, that's a different word track. But the differentiator between the two, right? Understanding, did they have the coverage when they filled the form out? Obviously there was something there that they wanted. There was a problem that they still wanted fixed. So just because they filled the form out and they already had something, that's not an objection. That's a statement, right? Like, having work coverage is not an objection. It is a statement, and it's part of your fact finding, right? I already have work coverage. Yeah, that's not uncommon. Most people do.
I mean, if you really want to get granular with it, you can be like, hey, I've had this for a while, like work coverage.
Yeah.
I got this, but I still filled out a form. Like I got it shortly before the form, then I still filled out the form.
Yeah.
Or I had it in place. I didn't have it in place yet when I filled out the form.
Correct.
And I think those are the three situations. Long term is strengthen your position, want to get something in place that doesn't expire when you start working there, blah, 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 something like that.
Yeah.
Then the one where they didn't have it in place yet when they filled out the form, but shortly thereafter they got it set up.
Oh.
Really just, hey, not a problem. Let me take you off the list here. Which one of our carriers did you end up going with? Let you know a carrier, and then you just go like, oh, but was there a particular reason you had to go with True Stage? And then like, wait, why? Like, you're seeding doubt, right? And then you just go like, hey, most people that go with them, they're like relatively poor health. Like, did you have like a recent stroke or something? And then usually get into a conversation like that pretty easily. And then they're interested again because now it sounds like, well, I have the wrong policy.
Correct.
And then the third one being, I had something and I got something in place shortly before I filled out the form. And that's where I think, John, what you were referencing here too, what had you still filling out that form then?
Yep.
I think that's what you want to go into. I think you're pretty good at that. How would you handle that one?
I mean, really at that point, it's just figuring out, were they shopping rates or was it not enough? Like if I got life insurance and then I filled out another form, like put yourself in the buyer's shoes, right? Why would you fill a form out after you just got insurance? You want to see what else is out there. So play on it.
You're overpaying, right?
You might be overpaying. You might have a bad company. You might have a right. So it's like I think people, they don't put themselves in the position. It's like, it's so crazy because what we do is such common sense. It's always funny when I train people and talk to people. They're just like, oh, well, it kind of sounds dumb when you put it that way. I'm like, yeah, no shit. It is dumb. You're just putting all this weight on something that you're creating this big boogeyman in your head that it's like intro objections are nothing other than what it's like. I have work coverage. So the biggest thing that I train with work coverage is it's like, okay, and like the biggest thing that you have to understand, like people are like, yeah, but they already got coverage. Okay. Like you have to stay, what's it called? Like separate yourself. You know what I mean? Detached. There's the word. You have to stay detached from whatever happens on the phone call. And most people get so worked up. And it's like, if you get worked up, then they get worked up and they're going to follow your pace up. So it's like, oh, I already got coverage with work. Yeah, that's not uncommon. Most people do, because what they're trying to tell you is I'm different from the people you're trying to talk to. And I'm trying to say, come on back in, little buddy. You're just like everybody else. That didn't work.
On that, I have to quote How to Win Friends and Influence People. Great book. If you don't have it, read it the same way that the author says to
or
read it.
Listen.
Don't listen to it. It's a terrible book to listen. It's a horrible book to listen to.
Yeah,
it's a great book to read. In this particular case, I listened to all other books, but that is horrible because it was like recorded anyway. The author essentially states it as seek first to understand and then to be understood.
Yep.
I think that's a key factor that a lot of people misunderstand, or a lot of salespeople are terrible at. Because really all that people, like John said, really all they're saying is, hey, I'm different than the others. And if you're saying, hey, that's great, and Hormozy says it, the people that do this usually have the best outcomes with us, different niche, right? But same idea. You're reinforcing them that they're saying I'm different, so this doesn't work. And you turn around and say, well, because you're different, this is going to work exceptionally better for you.
Yep.
If you spin that around on them, all of a sudden it's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, right. And so that's really the difference between, and I think that that's probably like busy and already got it taken care of or already have something are going to be your two biggest objections on the front end, I would say, for the most part.
And
And
there's
that's
also just a straight fuck you and hang up.
yeah. Well, I haven't been able to overcome the hang up yet. So once the phone
There's
gets,
also
now
the
you call them
silence
back.
for 10 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, you can call them back. Like when they hang up, and if and this works quite often. If they're like "fuck off" and they hang up, you'd be like, "Hey, Mo, I'm sorry, our phones must have got disconnected here. This rain's crazy, man." And then go back into it. Like it works sometimes. Um,
Usually,
but
when people hang up on me, I call them back and be like, "Hey, I apologize. I think we got disconnected there. What I meant to say was," and go right back in. Some people will be like, "No, I hung up on you. Fuck you," and hang up again. Right? That'll happen. Which then you can just laugh about it.
yeah,
But it quite frequently it actually gets you in a conversation. People just not very persistent with this.
yeah.
But if I know there's somebody on the other end of the line and they're probably available right now, I'll make that dial again once or twice for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean that just comes with confidence in yourself, right? Like for me, the mindset of everything is like, and everybody talks about the way people talk to them on the phones, and it's like, for me to be offended by you, I have to respect what you have or where you are. And typically, with most people, it's like you're not where I want to go or where I want to be. That doesn't mean I don't respect you on a granular level as a human, and people are going to say all kinds of shit, but it is what it is. But it's like you're not going to offend me if I don't have respect for you. And if I don't have respect for you, you can say whatever you want. It doesn't hurt my feelings, right? So it's like, just get over it. Fuck yous happen all the time. We're in telesales. Like, I'll take 100,000 fuck yous for all I care. So, but yeah, I mean, your main intro objections, busy time, then diffusing that, and then already just understanding the difference between already got it taken care of, already have something in place. And then, yeah, it's so, just going into the ideology of if they have work coverage, great, right? That's not an objection. That's a statement, right? For me, work coverage is the same as them being like, yeah, I'm in Texas. I'm like, okay, cool. You know what I mean? Like most people are like, yeah, but they have work coverage. That's an objection. No, that means they believe in insurance, dude. You're like, they're already driving a car. Yeah, that means they like driving. They believe in cars, dude. So
Yeah, for sure.
it's understanding that. Same thing with already got it taken care of. The way Mo handled it is typically how we train the guys to do it. Like, see doubt, and is there any reason you had to go with them? Like, did you have to go with them? And then if they already have something personal in their shop, usually they're shopping rates or they're trying to, compete with. I mean, that's really the only couple options, right? And so it's like the bait, like once you understand how stupid intro objections are, and they're not genuinely objections, they're mostly statements. Like that's why I always tell the guys too, it's like you need to understand the difference between a statement and an objection, right?
Yeah.
Like I have coverage is not an objection, it's a statement. They may be throwing it out there because they think it's an objection, but to me it's like, that's great. I have coverage too. Every time I buy more coverage, I still already have coverage. I just go buy more. So to me, it's intro objections are pretty straightforward. It's more of a bulldozing thing. It's like you're not trying to sell them on anything other than getting them to talk, right? Like all you're trying to do is drop that defense mechanism, diffuse the situation, detach yourself from the outcome, and really just get them into a conversation. Because our mentality is once we get them to fact finder, they're getting pitched.
Yeah. And not to draw that out too long because I think it's already twice as long as we wanted the intro to be.
Dude, the intro is the most important part, man. If you suck at the intro, you ain't going to present.
That is true. Now, with this goes back to persistence, right? So if somebody hangs up on you mid-conversation, I always just, in that a little bit of background on that, I had a lady, she hung up on me 5 times. She never said F you or anything like that, but she legitimately hung up on me 5 times in the intro. And at the end of the conversation, she was like, I'm so thankful that you were so persistent with this because I didn't believe I could make this happen for my family.
Yep.
Right. So, and that was like, I was lucky enough to have that experience, right? But that really taught me, okay, anytime that I let them get away with a hang up, I'm not saying like, don't be like a dick about it, right? You're not
Sure.
calling them to harass them.
Correct.
But if you're letting them get away with the way that they've been handling their life so far, being afraid of everything and never taking the opportunity or the chance or the initiative to do anything in their life properly, hence why they are on Social Security with freaking $800 a month or something like that.
Nope.
Are you ready to launch your life insurance career or finally break through, but the lead cost is holding you back?
We solve that. With us, you get free leads for your first 8 weeks to build your pipeline fast, plus full commissions, and you own your book of business from day one.
Look, we have noticed the biggest reason agents fail isn't because they suck. It's because they don't get enough reps in front of enough people fast enough due to not being able to afford the right amount of leads.
That's why we're footing the bill to get you the volume of leads you need to build a multi six-figure income in this industry without stealing any of your comps.
If you're interested in applying, click the link below. Spots are limited. Don't wait. They know that they're not in a good spot and they don't want to leave their family in the same spot, but they might just not see the opportunity to not do that. So I would definitely always try and give them the benefit of the doubt is maybe we just got disconnected. And if you call them, be like, hey, sorry, I think we got disconnected, then go right back in. A lot of people don't expect that.
Yeah.
So,
that actually brings up. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
And I mean, they answer the phone again, right? So it's like, so something's still there.
Yeah, that actually brings me into the third, typically I'm not interested, right? And you have to remember, like, especially on the final expense side, especially if you're running like Facebook ads and things like that, Facebook leads, like these people, they fill out a ton of forms, they're getting blown up, and you almost have to empathize with them because realistically, they had a bad experience with one agent and they're expecting everything to be the same. But my mindset is that, if I can't help this family, no one can, because I'm more persistent. I'm more empathetic. I'm more willing to grind. And those are the types of mentality. Like I always have the mindset that I'm the best insurance agent for them because I genuinely put the work in. Right. So it's like they may have a bad experience with agent A and they're taking it out on every other person that comes, And so typically like I'm no longer interested word track is something along the lines of that too. Right. It's like, oh, okay, not a problem. Just so I can take you off the list here. Are you no longer interested because you didn't think you could qualify, or were just like the rates too expensive? Usually they'll tell you. I just keep getting, have you been getting a lot of phone calls about this? They'll tell you. And if you empathize with that, they'll open up to you. So
and also rates too high just sometimes come from agents trying to sell stuff that they shouldn't be trying to sell. Like,
yeah,
not everybody needs a $50,000 policy.
correct. There's a lot of times that we've talked to people and they just been over pitched.
Yeah, like I've had people that are like, the lowest they showed me was 15,000. I just thought that was the minimum.
Yeah.
And then we talked about they just wanted a cremation. 5,000 was all they needed.
Yep.
Right? Is it going to be like this giant AP? No, but you help the person out and make a little bit of money. Why not?
Yep. And so the biggest thing about intro objection, guys, and we do this a lot in our agency, like every single day we do is role play, right? And so we're very, very heavy on intro role plays because I think the biggest problem that people have is intro objections. They don't get to pitch enough people. And that's why we've literally honed in and pushed and pushed and pushed. And it's like, find you a partner that you can reach out to and say, hey, let's run these objections. And it's not doing it 5 times. It's not doing it 20 times. It's literally doing it 100, 200, 300, 400 times. And that's why successful people, they understand that they have to be obnoxiously bored and obnoxiously annoyed with what they have to do because it's a level of repetition, right? And so the intro part is the most important part. And see, when we were going to start this, he was like, the intro will be fast. And I'm like, the intro is the most important part, dude. Yeah. Like outro objections are just as much bullshit as intro objections. But I think the main focus, like if you can master intro objections, you'll present to more people. And when you present to more people, you get better at outro objections, right? Because and then you learn how to prevent them, right? And so I think that that's the biggest thing. And so if you can find a partner, if you can find somebody like with us, we're heavy, heavy, heavy on role play, right? And if you're with an agency that doesn't do that, you should either start implementing it or find an agency that does. Because anybody that says sales training is nothing and you need to just play your numbers out, they're probably selling you leads and making a bunch of money off of them. Because the more you suck, the more money they make on leads.
Also, by the way, feel free to reach out to us. We have people just hopping on, doing role play, and then going back to whatever they're doing. Right? We're happy to help out.
If you're a positive experience,
yeah, not if you're
come in and complain if you suck
and just everything's shit, then don't come on.
And our biggest thing too is it's like you're allowed to come in and role play with us. Same thing with our agents too, though. It's like if our agents come in and they try to role play and they're stumbling over their script, you don't get to role play. You need to go read your script. I don't need to practice your script with you. You need to come knowing your script. Because what happens is most people are like, I want to get really good at overcoming objections. And it's like, bro, you can't even read your script without sounding like you're a third grader. Like,
yeah, and
get good at that.
I also say this, right? I would prefer to not get, and I'm not talking intro objections, I'm talking outro objections. I prefer not to get outro objections. It's to me, it's if you do your job right, it's silly to get an outro objection.
Yeah.
Because then you know you didn't do your job right.
Correct.
If you get to the point where you can see an outro objection coming up, either you didn't do your job, you didn't listen to them, or you don't have anything that would help them out.
Correct.
And if you don't have anything that would help them out, I mean, my approach to that is just being like, hey, I think you're fine. I've told plenty of people I can't get you any better coverage unless you want to add something to that. Just don't worry about it. And just a tip, don't fill out a bunch of forms because you're going to get 8 million phone calls and you're probably going to get a new phone number.
Yep.
Right? So just trying to help people every now and then.
Yeah. It's like, do your job properly, right? Oh, no. Hold on. Yeah.
Okay, so we're what, like 50 minutes? I think let's do this. Let's split up we're doing this as the intro because I think there's a lot of good stuff in here.
Yeah.
And then instead of just speeding the backhand up and just rushing through
we'll just do
the
part 2.
outro or the presentation and objections, let's just do a second part.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be more beneficial for people.
Yeah, because that's that's why they say, yeah. So essentially, this a 2-hour long training video is going to be a little much. So we'll split it into 2. So just doing a quick recap, right? Intro objections. If you can genuinely understand that, like most intro objections are really just they don't want to be on the phone with you. I think that's pretty much going to set your pace. And if you're not really, really, really good with your tonality on the intro and really, really, really good with being able to diffuse and just brush off intro objections at a high level, you're going to continue to have issues, right? And so detaching yourself from the outcome, understanding where their mindset and their journey is and why, because most of the time, especially on telesales guys, especially in final expense, they fill out a bunch of forms, they push things off, and then they get a billion phone calls from 30 different agents because they filled out 27 different forms and half those forms are resold to other agents. It's like they're just frustrated with the process. So if you can come in and show, not tell, but show you're different, they will genuinely typically follow up unless they're assholes. And so,
yeah.
And I don't mean follow up with them. I mean, they'll follow up with the process and conversation with you. So,
yeah. So maybe to wrap this up, structure-wise, intro we talked about on the last episode on the script.
Yeah.
My personal favorite is, hey, this is just Mo. This is just Agent X. I just had the chance to get back to you about the form you filled out on Facebook in regards to the whatever the policy type is.
Yep.
And then asking like an either or question, right? Were you looking for this or that? Then you would get the objection, which is, hey, which one do you want to do? Time?
Sure.
Okay. So I don't have time right now. Can you call me back later? Yes, that's not a problem. I was actually getting ready to get in my next appointment. Just wanted to say hi real quick, just to see if it makes sense for us to get back together. Let's go over a couple basics and I have you right off the phone. And then you go right into the fact finder. and go from there.
Yep.
Other way to do this, not a problem. Set a time and then say, just to make sure it makes sense for us to get back on the phone, go on the fact finder.
Yep.
So that would be for time. Then same intro, and then they say, what's the other one? Or you haven't taken care of?
Yeah.
Haven't taken care of. That's not a problem. Most people that come to us actually already do have it taken care of. When they usually fill out a form, they're just looking for X, Y, and Z. Again, you have to understand what the situation is first. They've had it for a while. Do you want to strengthen your position? If they just got it in place, just be like, not a problem. If it helps, I'll take you off the list. Which carrier did you end up going with? Oh, was there a particular reason you had to go with them?
Yep.
Like, did you just have a recent stroke, etc.? Right? And then, what was the third one?
Not interested.
Yeah, not interested. Would just be like, what did you have for not interested? you had something that I really liked on that.
Yeah, it's not a problem. And just so I can take you off the list here, were you no longer interested because you didn't think you could qualify, or were the rates just a little too high?
Yeah, that one. That's a really good one, actually, because usually they'll spill their guts out with that real quickly.
Yeah, and usually at not interested, they've just been blown up and they've been shown a bunch of shitty products or expensive products, or no one listened. So it's like, no, not interested is a reason, right? It's because they're frustrated. They're frustrated at something. They didn't like the outcome, and you just have to be different at that point.
Yep. Yep. So I think that's pretty much the structure for all of them. Did you miss anything?
No, that's pretty much it, man. Cool. We could sit here all freaking day long and just talk with you. YouTube 84-hour long podcast, but appreciate you guys checking out. Hope you found some value. Next week, we'll do the objections part 2, outro objections. We'll also talk a little bit about preventing them if we have time. Otherwise, we'll drop that in another one. Just a heads up, like I said, we run Arise Insurance Group. It is a very solid, high activity, high cultured insurance agency where we focus on telesales and getting people to produce at a very, very high level as quickly as possible. We've just introduced the first 8-week free program, and you still get your full comps. You still get everything like that. So if you're one that is just feels like you're not in the right place, you're not around the right people, we just brought a guy on. He's a pretty heavy hitter. 250K so far. I think by May he was at 250, so doing fairly decently. I'm pretty sure plenty of people would like to be there. And the first thing he told us was, this is such a great environment of people. I'm so excited that you guys care about fitness and you care about mindset and you guys push all of these different things. And it's not just leaderboards. So that's what we're here to do, because I think that you have to do all of those things to win at a very high level. So there should be a link in the description below if you want to check out our intro video and submit an application to talk to us. Other than that, guys, appreciate you guys and see you next week.
Adios.